You know, this next one is one of the most popular questions we've had so far, and it's just basic maintenance for your house. How do I fix that stopped up or slow drain? The first thing people want to dive into is grabbing one of these drain cleaners, and I'll be honest, all they do is take money out of your pocket. They don't work well, and when it's still plugged when you're done, you still get all those chemicals all over your hands. It's not good to have in your house. I've never had it work for me, so it's probably not going to work for you as well. So here's what we want to do. We want to get in and maintain this thing because, well, this P-trap was designed in, 1777. It was made to keep the rats and the sewer gas from coming up inside your house. So that's a good thing because nobody wants that. What happens is your sink ends up being right here. And we're under the sink at this point. And this is the drain. This is what controls the stopper when you've got the faucet up of. So what happens here is the water comes down here. It goes through this trap, which has always got water in it. And then it goes out into the sewer system down below. So what happens is when you're shaving, makeup, whatever else, it goes down in here and it tends to get caught up in here. Usually it starts with hair and then it just starts building up and rotting and getting really nasty. So I'm going to show you how to fix that. First thing, might want to get some rubber gloves because this is going to be nasty and probably a lot nastier than you're ever going to predict. It's pretty gross. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in and start loosening things up. You're going to want to get something to catch a little bit of water. It's not a lot. It's also going to be gross water, so maybe not the breakfast bowl in the morning. So we're going to come in here and loosen this up. This is actually what goes up to the sink. This is not going to move. In this situation, it's going to because, well, it's not hooked up to a sink. Let me take this loose here. And once I unscrew this here, that's going to loosen that up. I'm going to get this out of the way so I'm not holding it because you can imagine it's there. Once that, we're going to loosen this. This is the end of the P-trap. This is where there's going to be some water. This is where it could get a little gross. We're going to come in here and loosen this up. And that's when you're going to start to see some water come out. Let it drain out. We don't have to get too much in a hurry here because you're going to spill it. And then once you get this loosened up, let the water drain out, and guess what? This is where the mess is going to be almost all the time. So we've got water here. That comes out. This is where this is going to be nasty. This is where this is cleaned up, and it's going to be gross. So take this into another sink, rinse it out, get some hot water, clean it up. Now, if you've got more stuff up in here on this tailpiece coming out here, you want to make sure at the top part of this trap, you can loosen this up out of the wall as well and remove it as well. This is all adjustable, so don't be too afraid of where it is. If you're worried about it, take a Sharpie and mark it. That's an easy little trick. So once you get this out, then you can take it out, clean it up. That's the easy part. Now you got to put it back together. Now, how these work is these caps have little seals on them. This seal here is what seals around this piece of plastic. So you want to make sure you get this together. This is one where it's built into the same piece. Now, that goes in here like this. We'll get this set back in here, and you're just going to kind of build it back together. Now, I'll show you on this other one here. We can just leave that loose because this pushes in and out so we can get everything lined up back again. Now, there's another type of seal on these, like what's on this tailpiece coming out of here out of the sink. You can see this washer right here. This is a kind of a cone washer. It has a taper on it. That taper always needs to go down into the pipe, and the flat part goes up against the nut on this. So we'll get this back on here. Man, you can even see on this old one how nasty that is. If you can get up and clean that up, you can also pour some stuff down the sink as well to get that. So next, I'm going to hook this up right here, and you could start putting this together. Once we get this together here, get that so it's just loose, it's holding it. Now we've got the sink drain here that we're going to put in. There could be an extension piece in here. You want to adjust that at the same point and get these as lined up as best you can. Now, once we've got this together, we're going to tighten these back down. Now, if any of these are broken, like if this is metal, you'll see the chrome ones that were built in the 70s and 80s or in a decorative situation like you've got a pedestal sink. This cleaner could have really tore it up. Don't be surprised if it's actually rotten out underneath there. That does happen. So you'll want to get another decorative one of these. And they do make these now in different finishes. So if you've got that cool designer faucet, you can sometimes get these that exposed in that same designer color. So we're going to put this in, tighten this up, and you're good to go. Then you want to pour water right back down here. Test it. Make sure that you don't have any leaks, because otherwise you can ruin that cabinet down below. Now you've got this and probably a whole bunch of other bathrooms to do in your house. Every sink you should be doing this a couple times a year, then you never have that stopped up sink. It's a similar thing when you get into the kitchen, but that can be a little more complex, especially if you have that garbage disposal. That's another discussion for another day.